Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Realignment Dynasty here on NCAA 14, featuring that college football revamp, of course. And we got a special episode on tap for you guys here today. We are going to be checking in on some of your custom prospects that not only were made specifically for this series, but also that were left over in the Coach Dynasty series that I ran prior to this. And then we'll also go ahead and check out who makes it in to the college football playoff as well. That college football playoff bracket, which is 8 teams, that will be revealed in this episode as well. So guys, it's going to be a really good one. Make sure you go ahead, smack that like button for me, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into all of the games throughout the country for this custom prospect / deep dive special. Hope you guys enjoy. So let's go ahead and check into this custom prospect series as we go ahead and check in the first custom player to play in either a conference championship game or in a bowl game. We got Jacob Wakefield, one of the best punters in all of America in terms of their accuracy. The Minnesota punter, he does shank one early. He does have that against him. But overall, this is a guy that can definitely get some good punts in for you, as Wakefield is just going to continue to do some coffin corner action here, getting this one out of bounds, for example, making sure that the punt returner does not have any chances whatsoever to try to go ahead and bring this thing back to the crib. But this last one might be the very best one, as he goes ahead and downs it inside the 20. So Minnesota will end up winning the new Big 12 Conference Championship game, winning 53-33, and not a very particularly busy day for Jacob Wakefield, who only had to punt the ball 4 times today. However, he did down one inside the 20, inside the 10, matter of fact. So that's, very good, accurate punting for Jacob Wakefield. Also, he did handle the kickoffs for the Minnesota Gophers as well in this one. 9 kickoffs in total, matter of fact. 6 of them did end up being touchbacks. But now we go ahead and move on to the Mid-Atlantic Conference Championship game of the conference I like to kind of nickname for the Carolinas Conference, as these are all teams essentially from either North Carolina or South Carolina, with a couple of stragglers here or there. But we're checking in on Charles Condrey, the linebacker hailing from the state of Minnesota, choosing warmer weather to come down to Charlotte, and his defense got a really tough task. They got to come out here and they got to go about getting a top 10 offense on the road, top 10 football team on the road, and find a way to contain them enough to where their football team can come out and find a way to win this football game. Not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. And early on, Clemson is getting the best of the Charlotte 49ers as they're down 24-3 early. But Charles Condrey, he's going to be able to get in there and smack this quarterback. So at least a sack for Charles Condrey, as he has one job and one job only, and that is to either rush the quarterback or play contain and be a dog in terms of going after this tailback. But it looks like there is just simply not enough talent on Charlotte to pull the upset, as despite the good performance from Charles Condrey, the Clemson Tigers are going to win this one 41-31. But despite the losing effort, though, the sophomore redshirt out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, he proved himself out there on the field. 12 tackles, 11 which were solo, and then he did also have 3 TFLs and a sack. Unfortunately, this defense is a little bit on the younger side. Some of these guys, guys that are going to be coming back next season. So, the defense will eventually get better. But for now, Clemson just ran over these guys today. So the last conference championship game that I wanted to dive into was the Deep South Conference Championship game. That's essentially going to decide who is going to clinch their trip into the college football playoff. Now, these two teams have actually met in the past, but UCF, they took a late loss in the season to the Southern Florida Bulls, so that knocked them all the way down outside of the top 8. So that does mean they now need to go out there, get a win here at home, and beat Georgia Tech, the #1 team in America now, if they want to get their way into the college football playoff. But that's not going to be an easy thing to do, as this Georgia Tech offense this time around, second time, starting to do its work early. I mean, Jay McKnight's able to come out there, get a huge catch out of the left-hand side. I mean, look at this. 3 separate guys all in one area, and UCF, none of the UCF guys able to come down with it whatsoever. And that's going to lead to a Georgia Tech touchdown, as the Yellow Jackets, led by Michael Cox, and also Michael Cox with the passing record for most touchdowns in a career. It beats out Joe Hamilton, who actually did have the record in the 1990s. So a 13-0 lead here early, as Evan Daniels, one of your guys' custom prospects, he's also able to notch a TFL there as well. So Georgia Tech playing a complete football game right now. 13-3 early, as their tailback is able to get loose down the sideline, and that's going to lead to some more yards as well. As now 13-3 ball game, as UCF trying to come back. Evan Daniels able to get the tackle on Jay Jackson, but 1:30 left to play here in this first half. A chance for the Yellow Jackets to tack on a little bit more, but it's intercepted. Maybe this is what the Golden Knights needed in order to work themselves back into this game, as that's going to be at least a little bit more helpful. Try to get this back, maybe get it to a 1-score game, but then they turn the football over right back as well. And not only is it going to be intercepted, but it's also going to be a pick 6 as well, as Jermaine Moore is going to go right into the end zone. 20-3 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Is now UCF, Jay Jackson, needing a play downfield, is able to find his receiver. Looks like it is good for the first down, as Evan Daniels able to make the tackle, but unfortunately it does not lead to any points the other way, and Georgia Tech just continues to build up that lead, as Michael Cox getting himself yet another touchdown on board. It's 27-3 now, and it's starting to turn into a little bit of a rout, as Cox, he's going to try to pitch it, but UCF, the defense finally starts playing a little bit, able to force the second turnover of this ball game. And now Jay Jackson under center, looking to get it to his tailback, looking for the first down marker, but it is going to be rejected by who else? Ethan Daniels. And Georgia Tech, they are going to win the Deep South Conference Championship game this year, and that should cement them not only for the college football playoff, but it should also give them a top 8 seed to work with as well, as Georgia Tech wins big on the road and do what they need to do in order to take care of business. And Georgia Tech dominated, even though Ethan Daniels didn't have that great of a performance either. He does end up with 6 tackles and a TFL, but not really making his presence as felt as what one would expect from a senior redshirt. He did have a fumble recovery, though, to prevent his own defense from turning the football over. But Georgia Tech, it looks like they're going to punch their ticket into the college football playoff. So we finish up with conference championship games, and we find out what that college football playoff bracket is going to be looking like. So we do get a chance to play for that national championship. Of course, we won our conference championship game in the previous episode, but we move up to the number 2 team. And not only that, there's a little bit of controversy that's in this bracket for this year. First and foremost, you got LSU and Michigan, who do not even finish with double-digit wins. They don't win their conference either, and yet in spite of that, they get a chance to play for that national championship game. And Clemson specifically, now Clemson was in the top 10 prior to the conference championship game against Charlotte, and Clemson, they did what they're supposed to do. They won their conference championship game, and yet in spite of that, they get leaped over. So definitely some controversy with the college football playoff this year. And as for us, we get to keep on marching forward. We know who we go up against. We'll take on Arkansas in the quarterfinals, who's going to be representing that Sun Belt Conference. But now we go ahead and jump into bowl season here as we go in on the Idaho Famous Potato Bowl, featuring the Oklahoma State Cowboys from that Southwestern Conference and the Utah State Aggies, who are representing, I believe, the Mountain West Conference. There's some conference names that simply don't change, but John Paul Jones, he is starting for the Oklahoma State Cowboys today, and actually does end up getting beat deep. Now, he is a guy, he's more of a box safety type of football player, but he's going to get rocked by Tyler. Dude has two first names. That's really weird, as John Paul Jones almost snagged himself an interception there. But again, his hands are, he's got the butterfingers, man. He does not have very good catching hands whatsoever. He can lay the lumber, though. He did prevent Utah State from getting into the end zone, and also just doing a great job providing support in the running game, as Jones now has 5 tackles already on the day, looking for number 6, as he's going to get it out to the corner. Looks like Brown is going to make the reception, but Jones will be forcing him out of bounds, and Utah State once again kept out of the red zone, as the Utah State Aggies are still looking for an opportunity to get into the end zone. But hey, Jones is just a big piece of his defense right here, as he's going to get his first TFL of the day. Jones just reading the eyes of the quarterback, read it as a guy going to the left-hand side. And hey, the rest is history, man. Oklahoma State, they finished their year strong, winning 21-6 in this ball game. Now, John Paul Jones, not only did he help his team win the Idaho Famous Potato Bowl, but also he led his team in tackles today. He ends up with 10 tackles, a TFL, and also had a pass deflection as well, although he never had necessarily the best hands. Great performance for the safety, though. He helped his defense make sure that Utah State, they never found that end zone. So the next bowl game on tap is the Cheez-Its Bowl, which has the Miami Hurricanes going up against the Iowa State Hawkeyes. And a couple of customs in this one, both Freddie Flash and Mohamed El Bassa. And we do see Freddie Flash get over 1,000 yards on the season officially, so congratulations to the senior wideout. But sophomore wide receiver Mohamed El Bassa, he has some absolutely incredible upside. He's currently the number 3 wide receiver for the Hurricanes, but just has an immense amount of talent, though. Huge grab for the Hurricanes, as Brigham is going to see El Bassa downfield. He's going to pick up a few yards there as well. And Miami, their offense is really interesting. They don't pass the football too terribly much. They're more of a running team, but when there is passing opportunities, usually either Mohamed El Bassa or Freddie Flash, they are both getting open in one way, shape, or form, as it helps Miami build an early lead here, as that's a beautiful one-handed grab by Freddie Flash. Not an easy catch to make whatsoever. We'll see if they go to Freddie Flash here again the second time, and sure enough, they will do just that. Third catch of the day for the senior wide receiver. We'll see if they go to him a fourth time, but Iowa State did have it covered, so got to go back to the check down in Mohamed El Bassa. So now 4 catches and 39 yards on the day as Brigham, he's just going to go roll out of the pocket, gets it out to Freddie Flash once again. And it looks like both receivers going to end up with 4 catches and 39 yards. But the most important thing is the Miami Hurricanes are going to be winning the Cheez-Its Bowl, beating Iowa State 45-20 in this one. Now, for the custom guys that were in this game, both Freddie Flash and Muhammad El-Bassa each had solid games, each having 4 catches for 39 yards. El-Bassa did find the end zone, though he did have the first touchdown of the game for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, also, we did try to see Freddie Flash run the football. Didn't see that highlight because, to be honest, he only went a grand total of 3 yards. So, to be honest, it wasn't even worth showing. But good win for Miami. They finished their season and Freddie Flash's college career on a high note. Up next, we have the Independence Bowl between North Carolina State and Boise State. And North Carolina State, they have a pretty memeable person on the offensive line, Joe Beanie Jr. Now, for those of you that are a little bit more familiar with Joey Bean Sniper Gaming, this is actually his custom recruit that's playing that center position. Really cool guy. Definitely recommend you checking out his content if you haven't. Again, that's Joey Bean Sniper. But an early 21-7 lead here as Joe Beanie is going to help lead the charge into the end zone, creating just enough space for Ben Cook to get his way through in there. And another touchdown for the Wolfpack as they're opening up that can against Boise State, and just really smooth on the offensive side of the ball, just giving Ben Cook all the time in the world, and really could make himself a sandwich if he wanted to go ahead and do that, as that's going to be another touchdown for the Wolfpack. It is just going from bad to worse for Boise State. Not a good look for this football team, as we'll see if they can go ahead and get the 50 burger, as Joe Beanie also clearing the way as the running back Keith Jackson is going to run his way into the gap created by the center. And it just leads to just a fantastic performance by North Carolina State. They win huge in this bowl game against Boise State. They win 66-14, making a statement here at the end of the season. So I thought that Joe Beanie Jr. would have more pancakes. It seems like he had more when I was playing in the gameplay, but he only has 1 registered pancake. Still had a good game, though. He didn't allow any sacks, and he helped beat the crap out of Boise State. So I mean, it's really hard to complain. Nice way to send out the former 1-star prospect. You love to see it. Speaking of statements, we got the Texas Bowl here, which has the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on the Syracuse Orange, who are representing the Yankee Conference. And one player that I really want to focus in on is Chase Gunner. Now, he is actually the son of Nick Gunner, who happens to be coaching at the University of Texas Christian University as a defensive coordinator. And Chase Gunner making his presence felt early there. Going to get an early touchdown. But his team is in a close one, though. Only a 1-possession game, as Chase Gunner is going to win the one-on-one matchup despite being significantly undersized compared to the defensive back that was covering him. It's not about the size of the dog, it's about the bark in the dog. I believe I said that right. Probably said it wrong, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Chase Gunner having a really fantastic day, though, on the verge of 100 yards receiving. That might push him over the edge, but he certainly puts his team over the top here in the Texas Bowl. They take care and beat the Syracuse Orange in their season finale, winning 44-21 as the home team. But the true sophomore out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, and the son of Coach Gunner, who's the current defensive coordinator at TCU, he shows out being the best receiver on this Nebraska squad. 5 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown to go with it as well. He excels, with some of these other, talented Nebraska receivers that are also on the roster. But great day for him. Could set him up to potentially go to the NFL after next season. Now, we've seen a couple of looks for Mid-Tennessee State throughout the regular season, but I really wanted to focus in on senior tight end Jacob Miles, who was a developmental project when he originally arrived on campus. But you want to talk about a guy that's really worked on this craft and made himself into a solid tight end. It's this guy right here, and we're going to highlight him for this next part of this deep dive custom prospect special. As Mid-Tennessee State, man, they, silently been having a really good year, actually. 7-5 going into this game. This win could take them to 8-5. Now we'll see if Coach Gentry decides to stick around after this season. I think, he should definitely pursue a better coaching position if something like that is open for him, because he is capable of being a big-time coach, as it shows right here, leading the Blue Raiders to a huge win. So not only do we help out Coach Gentry a little bit by getting him a coaching upgrade, but we also help Mid-Tennessee State win their first bowl game in at least 7 seasons. Now, it was a good year for them overall. They ended up finishing 8-5 actually, which is something you really love to see, and setting the seniors out on a high note as well. As Jacob Miles, he looked great in this one. The multi-year starter ends up with 5 catches and 62 yards. And while he wasn't somebody that did not find the end zone this time around, he was also pretty helpful in that blocking game, in the run game. He ends up with 1 pancake and also didn't allow any sacks in the process. So the last custom player that I wanted to go over here is Brent Peterson, the senior defensive end out of Florida International University. His team gonna have a really tough test, really trying to continue the banner year that the Deep South Conferences has. They certainly have that reputation of being one of the best conferences in college football following the realignment. But that being said, though, huge test here as Penn State. They are certainly no slouches either. 21st ranked team in college football. Also trying to finish in the top 25. And, Brent Peterson, he is doing his thing. He's not shy of the moment by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, though, the rest of his team, not really ready on the defensive side of football, as one defensive lineman can only do so much to prevent points from being scored on the board, and unfortunately it will not be enough despite how involved he was in that defensive game. Penn State, they will end up winning the TaxSlayer Bowl. They win 41-28. So while Brent Peterson in his final collegiate game put together a decent set of stats, it is unfortunately not enough for his team to beat the ranked Penn State Nittany Lions in his final collegiate game, as he does end up with 6 tackles, 5 TFLs, and a sack to go with it as well. His college career is going to end on a loss. But that is going to wrap up this year's recruiting special, as we now look forward to being in the college football playoff for the very first time as a coach. And we will start things off next episode in the quarterfinals, where we will take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Lee Corso going to be rocking with them, but we're coming on a mission. So this will be a good one. Make sure you go ahead and smack that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you have to be brand new to the channel as well. And next time out, I'll see you guys in the college football playoff. Take care, everybody.